Hey everybody, it's Geoff. Just wanted to make a quick little video about a topic that really helped me learn how to navigate the fretboard of my guitar and how to play chords all over the guitar. Like many guitar players at first, I kind of knew my open chord shapes. I could play a C down here in the open position like that. And I knew, then I learned my bar chords with the root on the A string and root on the E string. And then if I needed to play a C chord, I had those three options and kind of, would just play these big old chords. But the reality of it is that a C major chord just means the notes C, E, and G played together anywhere on the guitar. And really on any instrument. So a teacher once showed me how to kind of break down the guitar into sets of 3 strings at a time, whether that's your high E, B, and G string, your B, G, and D, your G, D, and A, or your D, A, and E strings, and just look at each chord on 3 strings at a time. And since you got 3 strings and 3 notes per string, there'll be 3 shapes, or 3 notes per chord. There'll be 3 shapes for every major chord and 3 shapes for every minor chord on a given set of 3 strings. So for today, I'm just going to look at the high 3 strings, your G, B, and E, up top here. And I'm going to look at 2 chords, one major and one minor. I have a little jam pulled up on my computer that's just G minor and C major. So I'm going to go through and find those chords, each of the 3 shapes of those chords on the top 3 strings. But like anything else on the guitar, you can just move these around to find other chords. If we find a C major here, to make it an F major, we just move that shape to another spot. Alright, well, let's look at our G minor first here. Alright, so now the important thing here is with each of these shapes is going to be to know where the root note is. So for G minor, that's the note G. Alright, so the first one we'll find is here at the 3rd fret of the high E string is the note G. And then our shape is just going to be straight across the 3rd fret. And the notes for this chord are G, B flat, and D. In this case, it's G, D, B flat. The next place we'll find a G is at the 8th fret of the B string. And our shape is going to be like this: 7th fret on the G, 8th fret on the B, and 6th fret on the high E. And then our last one, our G, is going to be here on the 12th fret of the G string. G, B flat, and D. 12th fret, 11th fret, 10th fret. So that's 3 G minors. Alright, next we'll look at our C chord. The first one we find down here, our C is on the 5th fret of the G. And our shape is going to be 5th fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret. Our next one, we'll find a C at the 8th fret of the high E string. And it'll be 8th fret on the E, 8th fret on the B, and 9th fret on the G. Notes of C are C, E, and G. In this case, it's C, G, and E. Down here it was C, E, G. And then our last one, our C is going to be at the 13th fret of the B string. And it'll be 12th fret on the G, 13th on the B, and 12th fret on the high E. So we have 3 shapes of C major. Like I said, for all of these, the important thing is going to be to know where the root note is, because then you can move it to another chord. Right? So if we have C here, and then our shape is like this, say we wanted to play F sharp, we just need to find a F sharp on that G string, and it'll be up here, the 11th fret, and we just make that same shape. Right? Alright, here's a way to practice these shapes in a musical context. The first level is just to kind of get you used to moving around between them and being able to find where they are quickly. So all you're going to do is you're going to think of, either put on a track like I'm going to do here, that's 4 beats of G minor and 4 beats of C, or whatever chords you're working on for that day, and just play half notes trying to use 2 shapes of each chord within a given measure. That'd be something like this. So we have G minor and then C, 4 beats each. And we want to use 2 shapes of each chord. So that's G minor, C, C, G minor, C, C. Something like that. The next step would be to try and play some sort of more of a rhythmic pattern instead of just half notes like we were doing before. Something like this. For the last example here, you don't necessarily need to use these just as chords. You could play single notes and create lead lines, just thinking about the notes within each given shape, and trying to create little melodies of sorts over each chord. And then eventually, you can work that in with scales and stuff, but for this example, I'll just use the notes of the chords. So just kind of moving through the chords, sliding into some notes, things like that, to give it a little bit of more of a flavor. But really, I was just using notes from those different shapes of G minor and C over each chord as it moved. All right, hope that was helpful. I'll try and include a link to that little jam track that I was playing along to, and you can use that for yourself too. Bye.